sprung out at a rally where President Trump was addressing the crowd. Our Scott McFarland is there. I'm going to bring him in tonight, but the scene has been described as chaotic. Several shots were heard. President Trump hit the stage. Secret Service came in, and we're going to bring in Scott McFarland to let us know what he has seen and heard. Scott?
Adriana, it was a series of explosive sounds just about 5 minutes into the president's rally, the former president's rally here in Butler County, Pennsylvania. We saw the Secret Service rush the podium when the noises began, move President Trump, former President Trump, off the stage, and when he emerged, he appeared to have some blood somewhere near one of his ears. He raised his fist in defiance and moved with the Secret Service detail to some type of motorcade vehicle, and this rally has since ended. This was about 6:05 on the East Coast. The series of explosive noises shuddered through this crowd. So many of the thousands of people here went to the ground as law enforcement, what appeared to be some form of paramilitary or Secret Service detail, rushed to the left side of the stage behind former President Trump. They appeared to move someone or something out of the way. And now this crowd, this rally crowd is departing. The former president has been moved off site. A series of explosive noises 5 minutes into the former president's rally here near Pittsburgh. He appeared to emerge defiantly with his fist in the air, but with some type of blood coming near one of his ears. We're working to get more information right now, but I can tell you this crowd is agitated. They are, at some point, defiant. Some are refusing to leave, some are in tears, but this rally appears over, Adriana.
It looks like a chaotic scene there in Pennsylvania, Scott. Just horrific news, and this is a crowded area with, I'm sure, what was very heavy security. Scott, can you explain to me what kind of security people need to go through just to get to these fairgrounds?
You need to be screened to enter this area. We all had to go through magnetometers, had to have our bags checked, had to have our electronics checked. There is a visible Secret Service detail. You can see it in each corner of these fairgrounds in Butler County, Pennsylvania. I can tell you, when the series of explosives went off, some of us were confusing it for what would sound like firecrackers. But it was quite clear to the crowd immediately that there shouldn't be firecrackers going off here, and so many people took cover. We jumped beneath the rafters upon which I'm standing, which is behind the seated part of this crowd. Others just hit the deck, got into the grass. The former president was, you may see this better than me from the footage, removed by a Secret Service detail that seemed to pounce immediately. In fact, a lot of people were conflating this for firecrackers that didn't go down until they saw the former president get rushed by his security detail. We can't speak to his condition right now. All we can say is he jumped back up, raised his fist in the air. The crowd cheered when he did, and he appeared to have some bit of blood on his head at the time.
Raised his fist in the air. We are all praying that he is okay. We understand the Secret Service has whisked him away in the motorcade. The FBI, we're told, is aware, but this right now, just as it's happening, is a Secret Service investigation. Scott, this comes as all eyes were really on this rally because we are just days before the Republican National Convention, and at any moment, the former president, was expected to announce his VP pick. So this was a significant rally, and at a time where there's been a lot of scrutiny, a lot of focus on who that could have been. We are getting in some comment here, some commentary from J.D. Vance, the senator from Ohio, who was one of the contenders for former President Trump's VP pick. He has written on X, "Everyone join me in praying for President Trump and everyone at that rally. I hope everyone is okay." It is a sentiment that we all echo. Scott, can you tell us what is happening now? We're seeing some pictures, likely from earlier, of a motorcade being taken out and security personnel in camouflage heading in with long guns, surely trying to secure the area.
I'm seeing another ambulance move in right now, Adriana. Pardon me as I look away, but I see another ambulance behind one of the rafters near where former President Trump was speaking. This crowd is 90% gone from the seating area. They've moved back behind us, and some of them in the direction of their cars or towards all the walking areas that got them the very long walk from the parking lots to the rally site. But we see no shortage of medical units. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3 fire truck or medical units nearby, a police detail keeping the crowd away from that area. To be clear, this is a heavily secured event. This is not just a hanging out at the county fairgrounds. You had to get wanded. You had to go through metal detectors. You had to go through a Secret Service protected detail to get into this site. And people were arriving here as early as 10 or 11 this morning. People were entering this area as early as 1 o'clock this afternoon. They've been screened, which begs any number of questions. I can also tell you that it's worth noting the crowd, some of them are being particularly hostile. They're yelling in the direction of us, yelling in the direction of authorities, but they are emptying out. Rally's over.
It's incredible, Scott, how quickly that crowd emptied out. When we were talking just moments ago, it was packed. And now when we just saw you recently, you can see that that area has been cleared. I can hear the yelling behind you, Scott. No doubt this is a difficult, frightening moment for everyone who was there, everyone across the country who was watching, for there to be shots to have been fired toward the president. And at this point, it's too early to know exactly what happened. We saw him reach up and touch his head. We don't know if he was hit. We don't know if he was grazed. We don't know if someone else was hit. You just told us, Scott, that you saw an ambulance at the scene. But this is a moment that is going to change the trajectory of this campaign. Already, so much focus had really been on this campaign on the side of President Biden. Now we are talking about the unthinkable, potentially former President Trump on stage as shots ring out here in Butler County, Pennsylvania. Scott, can you tell us a bit of what you're seeing now? What are people yelling behind you?
About President Trump.
No, they're yelling at us.
At a rally.
Some of the members of the crowd are gesturing towards us and screaming.
Shots were fired. They haven't found anyone as yet. Secret Service.
They have found the killer. They have found the killer. The killer is dead. I just want to bring to reference something that this guy says.
And the good news is that President Trump is okay. But I want you to hear what Joe Biden said on July 8th to his donors.
Now listen to this, viewers.
This is what he said. Now, they go on about Trump and January, whatever it was, but I want you to hear what Joe Biden said on July 8th. This is what he said. He said, and I quote, look it up online, various sites have got it. This was a speech he did to some of his top donors on July 8th. He said, I'm tired of talking about the debate. It's time to put Trump in a bullseye. No, the internet hasn't stopped. No, we don't have a problem with sound. If this had been Trump, well, you fill in the comments what would have happened if Trump made that statement and this happened to Biden right now. What is it that this man, Donald Trump, knows? And what is it that this man, Donald Trump, is about to expose? And what is it that this man, Donald Trump, has? Of course, every president has knowledge of things that we don't. Why do they want him gone so bad? They're trying to jail him. They're trying to slander him. They're trying to now shoot him. I predicted this a while ago. Those of you may remember, I predicted that they'd have a go like this at President Trump. Joe Biden, July 8th. I don't care what he says today, on July 8th, he said, look it up online, look it up in the quotes, look it up in the transcripts. I'm tired of talking about the debate. It's time to put Trump in a bullseye. Well, they certainly tried that, and I believe the hand of God protected him. Now we need to pray for his quick recovery, and let's see if they find an assailant, if there was one or more.
Yeah, they killed the shooter.
And let's see if that assailant talks, gets arrested and accidentally dies in prison.
No, he's been
commits
shot.
Suicide. Let's just see what happens if they find someone. To be continued. Have a great Sunday, and if you haven't checked out my reborn message from this morning,
the shooter is dead. The person in the crowd was killed. Donald Trump, there's been an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. It's the 14th of the 7th, 2024 on Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia.
This is the only road with the yellow. And yeah, I don't see, I mean, this one's called Main Street. You would think Main Street would have, oh, this part has a picture. Multiple more shots. And then what you're gonna find after that, you're gonna see the SWAT-style officers hopping on the stage in just a moment. This is half speed right now, right? There, and you can hear their comms.
Who is there? Hold, when you're ready, on you. Ready? Move!
You had a whole sort of battalion of rifles hopping on there right after that happens. Now, if we fast forward a little bit, we're going to be able to see Trump walk away to a car. He's got blood on him, clearly. Here, watch this. There he is. One sec. Here you go. He's got blood on his ear. He's clearly hit. He's been getting carried out by the Secret
Well, there you go,
Service right
guys.
now.
Unbelievable
crap.
information right now as we see President Trump being taken away from the podium there in Butler, Pennsylvania. We did hear some shots there. We don't know what it was that happened. You're looking at the same thing we're looking at right now. I was literally without the suit jacket, just watching the coverage. We heard the loud noises, and we are live right now on Right Side Broadcasting Network.
Holy crap. It's absolutely crazy. This is an assault on democracy right here. This is effed up. This is really crazy. I'm just surprised that this can happen. This is, I mean, I know there are a lot of people here, but holy crap. I mean, I'm assuming somebody was able to sneak in from the sound of it, it sounds like some form of, like maybe a 9mm pistol is what it sounded like. Obviously, it didn't sound like a rifle or anything heavy or heavily powered, but it's clearly, a big deal here. Hold on. Look at that. So I'm shocked. I mean, look at this. You got multiple. What do we got here? We got what look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Secret Service agents around him here. You've got one Secret Service agent picking up what looks like, was Trump wearing his hat? Let me see. We're going to go back and see if Trump was wearing his hat when he was giving his prez. He was. So his hat fell off, or he took his hat off. Whatever. Let's play it again, because this is just absolutely unbelievable.
A little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
He was wearing his hat there. It's absolutely crazy. So it sounds like it was some form of, I mean, look at this. You've got people starting to lie down over here. Obviously, you know, if there's like a mass shooting or something like that. But it looks like this was specifically targeted at the president. And he was hit. He was definitely hit. I mean, he's bleeding. So, you know, obviously, you know, Trump appears to be okay. But let's show him off the stage here. There he is. He puts his hand up. Let me go back a little more. There we go. Look at that. That's crazy. Gosh,
well,
what
there
a
you go,
scary
guys.
freaking world.
Unbelievable information right now as we see.
Yeah, this is really intense. So I think there's a later part here where we see Trump getting in his vehicle. Let's see it here, if we get an angle on this. Here, guardsmen, Secret Service.
Miles north of Pittsburgh, and we heard a number of pops. That's what I'll call them for now, pops. I mean, there could be firecrackers, or it could be something.
No freaking firecrackers. This is insane. I'm pretty sure we see him go in. Okay, yeah, he's already in the car, presumably at this point. I guess the rally's over.
I was very concerned.
Be totally wrong. This could be some other random person. You always have to be careful when there's breaking news like this. It's very difficult to know exactly what is true and what isn't. What we have so far is obviously this is an assault on democracy. We have Trump that was grazed. We have one attendee dead, and one attendee in critical. And see the color of this. To
the right and to the left, and then there was, of course, people in behind President Trump sitting behind him as well.
Yeah, so that's encouraging that at least security was tight. We don't know how this suspected shooter got as close as he apparently did to the former president of the United States and fired shots at the former president, and in the process killed somebody who was just there, and then this shooter is now dead as well. We heard the Secret Service agents shouting out, "Shooter down, shooter is down, shooter is down." So we suspected that that shooter had been shot by local law enforcement or the Secret Service or the FBI or the military, all of whom protect a former president of the United States just as they protect a sitting president of the United States. Any other points you want to make, Kip, before I let you go?
No, I mean, it was after just a number of the shots came off that you could tell there was a different caliber gun shot. So, you know, there was a lot going on there, but I'm saying it was after 5, 6, 7 shots, I heard a different caliber gun being fired. So I assume that's the Secret Service with their guns. They had him identified and was shooting at him.
Yeah, well, Kip, I'm happy you're okay, and a lot of other people are okay. This could have been, God forbid, even a whole lot worse than it already has been reported. Kip Tom, thank you very much for calling in. We appreciate it very much. John Miller is still with us, our chief law enforcement and intelligence.
All right, I think I have a little bit more color on this location. It's very difficult to figure out. Obviously, trying to do this live is also challenging, but take a look at this. This is the shooter video, right? Shooter down video. And see the color of this this sort of metal structure here. Okay. Now we're going to compare that to where the rally is held here. It's the Butler Farm Show Inc. Fairgrounds. And there are a few buildings that look like this. There's this one And this doesn't seem to have the right color. Neither do these, because these appear to have fencing around it. So it's unclear, but it's possible it could have been this. And it's also very difficult to tell where the trees are relative to this in terms of where the shot came from. I suppose it's also possible that the shot came from the right? And think about this. So if the shot came from the right trajectory, where these red barns are, then you could have also had a Trump grazed here, and then somebody hit here. So it'd come from this back right corner. So I'm gonna look one more time at the angles here of this, but it is quite challenging to figure out sort of the alignment. And we also don't know the alignment of the stage, presumably because I do see the red roof here, and then it looks like the the red side, the non-red sides here. Here's that red. Then you have maybe the non-reds and some more red, right? So red, non-red, red. Somewhat aligns with maybe this. So maybe the stage is over here. Which would imply the guy's maybe even on this. But that's so close. This one's further away, but doesn't align with somebody getting shot left of stage. I don't know. It's all speculation, obviously. But this is what the area looks like. Oh, you have an airport right there, too. So, I don't know. Okay.
Events. There's the counter-assault team. They're ready to engage anybody that comes forward as a threat, especially...
Was shot. Joe Biden just released a statement. We're grateful to hear Trump is safe. No place for this kind of violence. Must be united as one nation and condemn the violence. Okay, but let's go back to this story right here.
Farming greenhouse here. We had a party, and we all decided, hey, you know, when we hear Trump up there, we're going to walk up through the field, stand by the trees up there under the shade, and watch and listen to the rally. Right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up. And probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking, I'm estimating here, I have no idea, you know, but we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, and, you know, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with a rifle.
There it is.
Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on. You know, we're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. You know, he's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2 or 3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this.
That's why the Secret Service was so fast. I was wondering how the counter snipers were able to react so quickly. But what a failure. I mean, if it's like, even if it was 1 minute and somebody's like, there's a guy with a gun, get Trump off the frickin' stage and investigate it. Like, all it takes is the officers, hey, reports of a guy with rifle climbing up onto a structure and like prevent this. Jesus, what a failure.
Yeah, what a failure.
And next thing you know, 5 shots rang out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at them for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see?
Binoculars.
What's going on there?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here?
Yes.
I mean, this is not a big place.
No.
Did you see, I mean, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, just be careful because we don't know quite who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
Why did they want him dead?
The guy was on the roof right there. You can see the white roof right there.
Did you get a look at him? Could you?
No, other than he was in muted colors, tan type clothing. We saw the rifle flinging around as he was trying to crawl. I mean, we saw the rifle.
Dude, I love that this guy has not put his beer down.
100%.
Do you know about guns? Do you know what kind of weapon it was?
Oh, I absolutely know about guns, for sure. No, I mean, it was a rifle of some sort. I wouldn't know, I wasn't close enough to read the label on it, but,
sure. But
it was a rifle of some sort. Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you process what you've just seen?
I don't know what to say, man. All I'll tell you is, if I walked up close to there with anything that Secret Service considered a problem, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you right now. But I don't know why a guy who we're standing there pointing out to police and Secret Service is crawling up the roof.
Were you outside the security perimeter?
Yes, right there by that tree. We were outside the security perimeter. But my question is, there's only a few buildings around here. Why is Secret Service not at every building here?
Well, there's a whole bunch of questions I think that are going to come.
There's a whole bunch of questions.
Yeah.
I like the guy's shirt. Stick City.
Yes, she was right in front of me. She kept going back and forth right in front of me. Yes.
Tell us about her.
I mean, nice horse, nice lady running with a flag. Seemed very, patriotic.
But what's the significance of her?
No, he asked me if I saw a horse.
Okay. All right, well, listen, I'm sorry you had to witness that. That was a terrible thing. And you should stay safe with your family.
There, finally, they're rotating. Okay, see, there's the building. That's what I've been waiting for, was for them to frickin' rotate the camera. Good lord. So, it's tough to tell. It seems like the interview's being held over here. But it's also very difficult to get to the exact bottom of it. I see a road, I see a yellow line, I see that shack. So let's try to identify here. We've got flags. The flags might not be there in the satellite picture though. We've got a road with a yellow line here. We've got that yellow-ish building. Here are the white-roofed buildings next to rounded red roofs. Okay, so to the right of the rounded red roofs. Oh, boy. That's tough. Where's the road with the yellow? Butler Farm Show. Yeah, tough to tell. Let's listen in over here for a moment.
Saw that go on, and then I looked down. I saw that the man, had died in the bleachers. It was just complete pandemonium. Like there was a bit of a delay. Like there was a lot of confusion, but immediately, it seemed like more gunfire erupted. I couldn't figure out where that was coming from, and then, there was a state policeman there. I believe a SWAT team, showed up relatively quickly. They jumped the side. There was a fence, it was next to the bleachers. They jumped the bleachers and started clearing the bleachers. And then I helped carry the body of the man down out of the bleachers, and they took him to a tent behind the bleachers. We put a towel over his head, but
then working the rescue loop.
He is deceased.
You were telling me before when we were chatting briefly that you never had a chance to make it to a Trump rally, that this was your first time. Would you feel safe coming back to another Trump rally?
Yeah, it's a very random event that happens. I feel safe generally where I go in the country.
Right. However, the other
I think the problem is we have a very everyone seems very angry, and it makes you kind of, I'll go to a Trump rally again, but I'll think twice.
Different things can happen at these events.
You definitely want to have your head on the swivel. It just seems like there's a lot of angry people out there, and I'm not shocked that this happened.
So the fact that
I'm shocked that I was sitting there and it happened next to me. Obviously, you never anticipate that to happen.
That might have been capable of doing this.
It's just horrible. We shouldn't be at a level of political discourse in this country where this is going on. It feels like it's 1960 again.
People have been briefed on what the investigation holds.
It's horrible.
And so we're going to continue to do our
Can you
reporting
describe for
and
me, Joseph,
obviously get right
what
back on with
happened
you
after you saw the shots?
Stay with me very quickly. I just want to point out
I was there as well. Secret Service was screaming for everyone to get down. They quickly tried to clear the area. I'm just curious what that process was like for you in the aftermath.
Is in fact a crime scene.
Very confusing. Like I said, I think everyone was in the bleachers knew. It was initially confusing when the gunshots erupted.
So
I think the crowd thought it was fireworks. I think someone thought they were playing a joke.
So I worked all day.
The people were close to the people that got injured and killed. You obviously knew it wasn't a joke.
Yeah, Lester, absolutely. There was a lot of confusion initially. You don't expect something like this to happen going in. There's so much security protocol when you come to a Trump rally. And as we were first hearing those sounds, so many people that I've talked to, myself included, our team here, thought it might have been fireworks. We weren't sure what was going on. Now, as everyone has taken a bit of a breath and is trying to absorb what happened, we now understand that that's not necessarily the case. We are coming to you live right now from the parking lot for this venue. Trump rallies attract thousands and thousands of supporters. There are thousands of cars here. And Lester, we are running into people who have evacuated the rally, are looking for their vehicles and trying to process what just happened. That's how I ran into Aaron here. Aaron was in the front row there near the former president. Aaron, first of all, are you okay? How are you feeling?
I'm okay. I was in the first row. I was directly in front of Trump, my seat. I was looking him in the eye. We heard the pops, maybe 3 minutes into the rally, 3 to 4 minutes. I heard 4 pops, pop, pop, pop. The 4 Secret Service immediately jumped on the stage, and we saw him push President Trump to the ground. Then the gentlemen that have the guns came up to start clear right, clear left. They said, get him up. So they lifted him up, and Trump said, I got to get my shoes on first.
Did his shoes come off?
His shoes must have, we couldn't see it underneath that, but his shoes must have come off when they dropped him down to the ground. First thing he said, we could all hear it, I have to get my shoes on first. And when he stood up, I'm looking at him forward, I see the red teardrop right here of blood, fresh red blood, just a little tear. Then when they got him up and they turned him, I could see the blood from the top of the ear to the bottom. Wasn't gushing, but it was covered. And then he put the fist bump up, stay strong, and they walked him off.
Aaron, what was going through your mind? What did you think when you first heard those sounds?
I thought what you just said. I thought it was fireworks, 4th of July. It's been pop, pop, pop. That's what it sounded like. The gentleman behind me, I was one seat, he was to the right of me. He could see the sharpshooter behind Trump. He said the sharpshooter shot to the left. He killed the gentleman in the water tower here. Now, when I called my husband at home, who's watching TV, he said, I thought Trump hurt his ear when he went to the ground. But he said, no, on TV they showed before Trump hit the ground, the ear was bleeding. So that sharpshooter went across, Trump turned his head, his ear must have been nipped, and it killed somebody in the stands over to the left.
Could you see anyone injured besides the blood on the former president?
All I saw was the gentleman from Beaver County who spoke earlier in the day, who was running for the State House Representative, Elmore, I know his name. He had a white shirt on, and I saw him come from that left stands where the people were mostly shot. I think there were several. They said 3 medevacs left here. Blood was down the right side of his, he wasn't shot, but you could see that he was next to somebody who must have been bleeding profusely, because he either helped them and ran, rubbed against them or tried to get them help or something. It was covered. So I knew that he was near somebody. That was my first indication that somebody was actually shot, when I saw his blood on his shirt.
Aaron, when did you realize that, hey, this might not be fireworks, this might be something else?
When they got Trump down on the ground. And then we were just so concerned that he wasn't hit, because we couldn't. It happened so fast. It's really hard to process it. I guess if you have it on your camera to see the exact minute, you can tell. But when he got up, he did not look bad at all. He didn't. He looked very strong. So then I saw that little bit. When I saw that blood, I thought, oh, he must have just hurt himself, hopefully. But it does appear that he was probably nicked by that bullet. That
and Aaron
turned his head just in the nick of time, but just...
And Aaron, you were so near to all of this yourself. You were right there. How did you personally feel about your own safety? Were you scared? What was that experience?
I was totally not scared for my own. None of us in that front row went down to the ground. Not a one. We wanted to only help the president. That's all we wanted to do. Either we could protect him, we could stand around him. I didn't see one person in the row hit the ground. Not one. I was shocking. No one was concerned about us. We were only concerned about him.
Now, you're somewhere safe. You're out of there. As you're starting to process this, I know we'll all be processing this over the coming days and weeks. How are you feeling now in this moment?
Well, what I've heard coming out here is now they feel that there was 2 shooters on both sides. So they got the one on the tower on this side.
All that junk on the right. Yeah, no. The door is alone on the right. It could be this. You know, some shot like that. Door. The person might be in front of a window right here. Door, window. Maybe another window over here. Tough to tell. Nah, no. It looks like the wrong angle. But it's one of these over here. Could have been that. Door.
That people and we have more detail to come relative to other people maybe injured in the audience. I don't have all that detail. We'll make that available to you. I may be able to come back a little later tonight, but we'll put out a statement if we don't. If I'm not able to give, if it's not convenient for you all. But the bottom line is that the Trump rally was a rally that he should have been able to be conducted peacefully without any problem. But the idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of. It's just not appropriate. And everybody...
It has been heard of. JFK was assassinated.
Everybody must condemn it. Everybody. I'll keep you informed, and if I am able to speak to Donald, I'll let you know that as well. But so far, it appears he's doing well, number one. Number two, that they're thoroughly investigating what happened to anyone else in the audience. We have some reports, but not final reports. And every agency in the federal government, I'm going back to my phone to speak with the federal agencies that are being put together again to give me an updated briefing. Has anything happened? They learned any more in the last couple hours. So thank you very much, and I hope I get to speak to them tonight.
So that's why they wanted us to leave immediately, because they thought there's still a shooter out there somewhere. So there could be in these woods around Butler.
Aaron, you know, I've covered many Trump rallies. I don't know how many you've been to.
My 6th. This is yours. I was here. I was the 4th car in the parking lot this morning at 20 to 7. So I've worked all day.
You've been here all day.
Yeah,
you know that.
I knew you were NBC.
We're here. Look, you know the atmosphere coming into a Trump rally. The supporters, very jovial, very celebratory. Typically, people are selling merchandise, food. What were you coming in with today, and what are you leaving with tonight?
Well, I was here 4 years ago when he was in Butler. You know, it was like 58,000 people. I tell people it was the most magical night of my life. When he came on that helicopter and circled 2 times, he had 4 rallies that night. It was just an unbelievable night. And I was anticipating to be another unbelievable night, but not this way. And it's just very sad. I mean, all these people that came to see him and to have him hurt, I can't even describe it, you know. I just feel sad. I feel sad for our country. I feel sad for everybody, you know. I mean, you don't...
Would have been where Trump was. I'm gonna just do this with my pen here. So this would have been Trump. This would have been shooter. Then you would have had the angle of that video where you get the shooter. Looks like it was just to the right of some trees here. Pretty far back. And the trees could have been moved and that, but that's a good distance back. And maybe some trees over there. Yeah, it looks to me, if I had to guess, the videographer would have been here. So I'm comparing to this shot right here, right? So you got a direct shot, a direct angle onto the building from this video angle here. And so if I go here, a direct angle onto the building would be roughly here. So I'm going to go with the videographer had a, we'll call it the phone video. Phone video. So this was the phone video angle that we see pointing that way. Make that a little skinnier. All right. No, that's confusing. I'll just leave it like that. So that's the angle we see. Here's Trump. And then comparing to the stands, Trump is here. Water tower's up here. So Trump's angle to the water tower is roughly in line with the water tower. So I'm going to say this was probably the stage. And I'll show you that in a second. And then this was probably the stands. Victim. I'll show that here. Probably right about... Let's see if I go with... I'll put victim. We'll call this stands. Right? And then I'm going to say the victim was roughly here. And I'm using that based on where we had blood in the stands. This is graphic. Let's see here. Yeah, here it is. Okay, again, very graphic. Sorry. But this is the shot of where the blood is in the stands. Looks like you're, 2 or 3 seats in. So I'm going to move that to the left just a little bit, and then maybe 4 or 5 bleachers down. Victim. So now I can see the path of the shooter. I'm going to go with a line here. And we'll do, let's go with this. Oh, that's too thick. There we go. This is probably a rough approximation here. I mean, the stand could have been a little bit more to the right, right? I'm going to actually move that stand just a little bit, because I think that victim was perfectly in that line there. So I'm going to draw the victim roughly here. And then you've got this would be a better representation of the stands. Right? There you go. That's phone video we have on the left. And then most of the press looked like they were in the press stands probably right about... Well, they had to have had a straight-on shot, too. Let's see here. Yeah, they did. So the press stands were probably here, I'm guessing. Press 1. And then you had another angle probably here. Press 2. I think this is a rough setup of what happened. And again, the fact that this was not covered by the Secret Service is absolutely insane. Let's go play here for a moment.
And recognize that this is a line that's been crossed here that is just horrific and unforgivable, and we need to have cooler minds prevail.
Yeah, well said. Pennsylvania Republican Senate candidate David McCormick, who had a front row seat over there. He was an eyewitness. Appreciate your joining us very, very much, and glad you're okay right now. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Anderson, back to you.
Wolf, I want to go next to former Secret Service agent Jonathan Wackrow, also CNN national security analyst Juliet Kayyem. Juliet and Jonathan, before I talk to you both, I just want to replay what happened, and just for our viewers who are just joining us, but also because I want to talk over some of the details, particularly with you, Jonathan, of what we see the Secret Service do in terms of covering the former president, not immediately evacuating him until, and also just remind viewers that the audio that they're going to hear is largely Secret Service agents talking among each other while they are covering the former president. And you hear some words from the former president about his shoes, and then saying wait, and then doing the fist in the air. So let's play that.
No, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Moving his hair. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move. Up. Move. Go. Up. Hawkeye's here. Hawkeye's here. Moving to the stair. Get ready.
They're slow. They should have got him off a lot quicker than this. Get him off.
Are we good? Shooter's down. Are we good to move? We're clear. Let's move. Let's move. We're clear.
Go.
Let me get my shoes. I got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes, sir.
Hold on, your head is bloody.
So we got to move to the bus.
Just get him off.
Watch out.
Slow. That is
if anybody wants to share my little drawing, I just posted it on X. You know, I get like, I just think this is useful. So if anybody wants to share this sort of detail, again, I posted it on X at RealMeatKevin. And I don't know if you want to retweet it or whatever, if you agree with it, obviously, or add your comments to it or whatever. But I wrote here, V is the headshot victim. T is obviously the Trump position. Phone video we've seen here of the shooter's body seems to roughly align with that angle right here. And I think it's worth us putting that the address, Evans City Road, Butler, PA. Yeah, so roughly 506, 506 Evans City Road, Butler, PA, for building location. And I guess I suppose I could also just link below it the actual aerial view that I have of it there, so that way y'all can see that or interact with it or add comments if you want.
Shooter. Here's the phone video. Press. Victim in the stands.
Okay, there we go. So, okay, let's go back over here. Yeah, again, if you want to retweet that, thank you. It helps out. Really appreciate y'all watching here, by the way, as we try to break this all down live. Thank you to all those of you who support the channel and subscribe. If you haven't yet subscribed, we're knocking on the door of 2 million subs, so would appreciate your support in a subscribe. And then, of course, always check out my
reconstruction of shooter position based on what I've been covering. The fact that the Secret Service didn't cover one of the closest buildings is insane. Unforgivable failure. S's shooter location, left V, phone footage showing shooter body, headshot to victim. pretty accurate.
Type of threat, but the Secret Service agents quickly came in. They put themselves between the former president and any type of potential threat. Again, basically creating a body bunker around the former president. While they're down on the ground, they're doing a rapid assessment. There's a lot of information coming into their earpieces about what's going on around the perimeter. Was it a shooter? What the situation is. We heard the verbal commands. Again, you have to think they weren't screaming and yelling at each other. They were very composed. Their instructions to each other were very clear. Again, that all comes down to their training, tactics, and experience. The president was not moved until they confirmed that the shooter was down, and you actually heard an agent say, safe to move. Most likely that was the detail leader for the former president, giving the instruction that it's safe to move. The Hawkeye team, as you hear, Hawkeye's up, Hawkeye is around. Hawkeye is the tactical team. That is the counter-assault team. Again, they're there to support the shift, address any secondary threats that may present itself, and make sure that the president's movement from one terrain feature, the podium, to the armored limousine is done in a safe and efficient manner. So they'll move along with them. So once all those components were in place, that's when we see the president moving off stage. What we don't see, though, is exactly how the Secret Service responded to the threat, the shooter, and how they neutralized that. So what we assume at this point in time, since it was a threat from outside of the security perimeter, that this was a long-range threat, probably a long-range rifle, that needed to be addressed again from another long-range mitigation, most likely from either the counter-sniper team or from other types of tactical units that were on site from the Secret Service. So there's a lot going on in a short amount of time. But again, I can't stress enough, this is what the Secret Service does. When the bell rings, they are prepared to react this way.
Yeah, they should also prevent the bell from ringing.
The president off of the X, off of this environment, to a safe location. Then the secondary assessment starts around medical concerns, making sure that the president doesn't have any secondary injuries. They then move the president to a safe location away from this site, most likely a hospital, where a full medical evaluation would be underway, ensuring that the safety of the former president, that he is in good health.
Jonathan, are you surprised? They're not rushing him off this. I mean,
Are we good? Shooter's down. Are we good to move? We're clear. We're clear. Come on.
Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes, sir.
Hold that in your head. It's bloody.
So we gotta move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
Okay, my shoes down. Watch out.
Wait.
The former president tells them wait in order for him to address the crowd. They listened to that on two occasions, it seems. Is that unusual?
Well, I'll say, that's what we heard. That's not.
Thank you to all those of you who've been retweeting that tweet. Really appreciate it over at Real Meet Kevin on X.
Identifying injury. The Secret Service has its protocols. They are going to move the president, the former president, from the stage to a secondary location only when it is safe. The worst thing that they could do is move from one terrain feature into another terrain feature that is destabilizing. They do not want to move the former president, off the stage to the limousine where there could potentially be a secondary attack. That's why these tactical assets were also very important. Again, being able to immediately address a secondary.
Wow, there's some talk that despite this assassination attempt, Donald Trump is expected to be in attendance at tonight's UFC event in Denver. So he's got to go from Pennsylvania to Denver after being shot and keep going. Wow.
Of all of that practice in overtime.
Jonathan, also, I mean, obviously the Secret Service has snipers in events like this. I assume they have the highest vantage points at any place that they are. how would it be possible for somebody to have gained, even if it's off the, not in the actual, close enough to go through the metal detectors, but just off-site, to gain a sniper position?
I don't want to speculate how the shooter got to that location. That will come out throughout the investigation. But again, when you think about the concentric circles of protection that the Secret Service protective methodology applies, what we're seeing on the video is the working shift. Those are the closest ones that are around. The next layer out are those tactical elements. It's that the counter snipers, the counter assault teams that are there to address the near horizon and long range threats that may present to one of the protectees. So what we do know is that the time to exposure, the moment that threat was identified, again after probably that first shot, there was almost immediate engagement of that threat, and that threat was neutralized within seconds from the audio that we heard and then from CNN's own reporting.
And Juliet, obviously from an investigation standpoint, national security standpoint, a lot obviously now goes to who was this individual who did it? Were there more individuals involved? Motivation, method, everything.
Yeah. So there's going to be, so I want to be very clear, there'll be two pieces of this. So first is who the individual is and whether he was part of a larger group. And I know there's a lot of politics involved with this, so I'm going to just relate how an investigator would look at this. So there would be, is he a lone individual or was he planning with others? And then they're going to look at his emails, any contacts he had. Look, this is not a random, this is not someone who woke up and thought, I want to shoot at Donald Trump. What the pictures we have seen has shown a person who knew where the security perimeter ended and where he would have a good shot of President Trump. That is a serious, I'm going to call it assassin. That is a serious assassin. That is someone who knew exactly what he wanted to do. And however Donald Trump got the blood marks, whatever the reporting is, something came very close to seriously harming Donald Trump, the former president and the nominee for the Republican Party. So that's the first part. The second part is, of course, motive.
Whoa, I think I have the counter sniper shots. Look at this.
Wow.
This is crazy. This is this is right behind Trump on the rooftop here. Oh, thank you so much. Lauren just brought, shout out to Lauren. We're 2 hours live now, and Lauren just brought me some pizza. Thank you. This looks like the counter sniper position right here. Let's take a listen to this.
Took over, and look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people.
Oh, come on. No.
And that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart.
Go back. Not see that. If you want to. How would somebody up there like that? How did the sniper not see the assassin?
Really see something that said, take a look what happened.
Not see the assassin.
Oh, you knucklehead. Yeah, two snipers up there. Two snipers right here. Both of them looking that way at this point. I don't know if both of them were looking that way beforehand.
What's going on with that?
It looks like both of them are looking that way. So maybe they were aware that the threat was happening.
Look what happened to our country.
That's intense. Wow.
That's like warfare, isn't it?
Let's see if we can hear. I think you can hear a different shot when this happens. Yeah, here you could see the two tactical units on this roof. Let's see if we can hear. I don't think we'll be able to see, but let's see if we can hear the shot.
20 million people. And that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
There was people running around, pointing at this assassin on the other roof. How could they not see?
Well, look at that. You can actually see the snipers move back there for a second. It's almost like they're kind of caught off guard by the shooting. Watch this really closely. You could see both of them jump back a little.
That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something
Now.
that's said, take a look at what happened.
They were caught off guard by that. Do you see that? Both of them, they sort of twitch and duck down. They were not ready for that shot at all.
A little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Well, how did they get
there?
How did they
that sounded like the counter shot. You hear the light caliber pop pop pop, and then you hear a heavier caliber boom.
How did they had a view? They had a vision of where they were pointing in the direction of the sniper. Oh, come on. What the hell? Oh, gosh. That's bad. This is Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye for now.